Would you keep the same four?
In a heartbeat. When I'm going in the trenches, I played against and with all these guys. I'm going with who I know. Every single night, that responsibility to go out there and represent greatness every single night.
So Steph Curry shouldn't be offended when he watches this.
I hope not. He's still a great player. Not a Hall of Famer yet, though. He's not.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
I enjoyed this.
Okay. What's up, YouTube? I'm here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the biggest soundbite heading into the NBA season of what Jordan said about Steph Curry. Now, there's been a lot of people on Twitter, Facebook, going in on Jordan, a lot of hot takes, and this is going global. This is trending worldwide. This is trending more than him announcing opening up a health clinic in North Carolina. So we're going to talk about this. Let's get into it. Now, Jordan was on the Today Show, and he was asked what would be his top 4 players he would play with on his list. And a couple years ago, he named his buddies Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon, and James Worthy. Now, Steph Curry came about, and this is when Jordan said Curry is a great player but not a Hall of Famer to him. And I think that was what caused the uproar, and I think a lot of people is taking it out of content. And he's not saying that Steph Curry isn't a great player or he's not an elite player, he's not one of the greatest in this generation, but he's saying he's not a Hall of Famer. Now, I think the second part of what he said is what's causing the controversy, because clearly, and in most of our eyes that has been watching basketball for the past 7 years, clearly Steph Curry is he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest basketball players in the world right now. So for Jordan to say that, I think he's a little bit delusional. I don't know if he was sipping too much tequila that day on the air with this guy, but I think Steph Curry is a Hall of Famer to me, and I think most people would agree. That maybe says a lot more about Jordan and his high standards for players, because if Steph Curry is not a Hall of Famer, we got to ask him, does he think, is LeBron James a Hall of Famer, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, guys of that nature. Maybe, Russell Westbrook might be a debate, but you get what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of Hall of Famers in the future with this generation of basketball. So much talent, and I just think Jordan is a little delusional when it comes to younger players in this generation. He has this 90s mentality of you guys can't play back in my day type of mentality, and I think it's the wrong mentality to have. There's a lot of Hall of Famers, guys that's played in the 90s that has that mentality, and I think it's the wrong mentality to have. Shaq, Charles Barkley, a lot of these guys, brings that up a lot of the competitive spirit in basketball today versus in the 90s. But let's be honest, guys. Now, the 90s had a lot of bums in the 90s. A lot of bums played in the 90s era of basketball. Now, most teams in the 90s had one superstar. There was a couple duels, maybe a third guy, but for the most part, in the 90s, 80s, there were a lot of teams that had one star. And I think Jordan has to acknowledge that the game of basketball now is better than what it was before. And, Jordan, one thing about Jordan is, and this is why his Bobcats team isn't good, because I think Jordan has this egotistic mind of picking talent, or to some degree he just doesn't know how to pick talent. He doesn't know how to see talent. I think he holds standards so high for players, and I think that's part of why he kind of hates on the younger generation. But to give credit to Jordan, he doesn't hate on a lot of players. He takes a lot of players under his wing also. He's really intact with his Bobcats team. So I'm not going to say Jordan is the biggest hater of the younger generation of players, because he does own a basketball team, by the way. Shout out to Jordan. But I just think he needs to wake up a little bit and kind of get with it with the program of there are a lot of good elite players playing in this era of basketball. And to say Steph Curry is not a Hall of Famer, it's a little bit ridiculous to say. But, now again, he's not saying Curry isn't a great player, but he's saying he's not a Hall of Famer today. So, shout out to Jordan, but with his hot takes, it just seems like he causes a lot of controversy. Again, this is trending worldwide. A lot of fans are questioning, what is Jordan talking about? Is he tripping? Now, I don't know how much tequila he was drinking that day, but clearly Steph Curry is a Hall of Famer now. I don't want to dwell too much into this. I just want to give my input and give you guys updated. So you guys leave a comment below. Do you think Jordan was tripping? Do you think he was sipping too much tequila that day? Is Steph Curry not a Hall of Famer? Is he a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done? You guys drop a comment below, and see you guys on my next video. Peace.